Next, let's have a look at the switch statement. As we have seen, the if in conjunction with the else if statement can be used to evaluate multiple conditions. The switch statement is used to evaluate one condition and then compare it to different scenarios. For example, a variable might be assigned to the day of the week, and then depending on which day that is, it will execute the relevant block of code to output a message to that relevant day. In other words, the switch statement will compare a condition with several other values. These are called cases, and then execute the relevant block of code. If none of the conditions are met, it will default to the block of code marked default. Every case is terminated by the break statement, and this is required as the switch statement will continue executing code if it is not present. In the small example, you can see that the switch statement, like the if statement, has a condition. It will then compare this condition to different cases within the switch statement. If none of these cases are met, it will use the default statement, and you can also see that there's a break statement at each of every block of code. Let's quickly have a look at a practical example to illustrate this. So in this example, we are going to declare a variable called day of the week, in which we'll assign it the value of a day of the week. The switch statement will then compare different cases to that variable and then execute a relevant message depending on which day it is. So we'll start off with our opening and closing PHP tags. We'll declare our variable. Start off by saying that it's Monday. And then in our switch statement, opening brackets, the variable we want to compare it to, and then opening curly brace, closing curly brace. Alright, then our first case, we need to say what is it going to compare it to. Compare it to the string Monday, and then the colon, which is in the block of code that needs to be executed. So we'll say it is Monday, and then remember the break statement so that if the scenario is correct, it'll break out of the switch statement. Then we can say case Tuesday, colon, block of code to be executed. It is Tuesday, and then end with the break statement. So we can do this through all the days of the week, but we'll skip to Friday. If the case is Friday, colon character, block of code to be executed. Then we can say that it is the weekend. End with the break statement. Then we have the default statement, which will echo this block of code if none of the values are relevant to the variable that we have declared. And the break statement. Alright, so let's save. We'll head over to our browser. Click on the file. Let's just hit refresh. And we'll see that it says it is Monday. Let's go back to our code. So we declared the variable with the value of Monday. The switch statement then evaluated that variable and compared it to the first case, which was Monday. That was the case, then echoed the block of code to say that it is Monday. Because this was correct, it then braked out of the switch statement and it didn't continue with any of the other scenarios. So let's change the value to Tuesday. We'll hit save. Back to our browser and hit refresh. And it says it is Tuesday. Then let's change the value of the variable to Friday. We'll hit save. Back to our browser and refresh. And it is the weekend. Now let's check to see if we declare a value for the variable which is not any of the cases in the switch statement. So we could just say anything. switch statement should then go to the default section and echo none of the values are correct. So hit save, go to our browser, hit refresh, and there we go. None of the values are correct. So that is how a switch statement then uses different cases to compare different scenarios